Hello, 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 everyone. How's everybody doing today?
Doing well, and yourself?
Doing great. I would like to welcome each and every one of you to Tiger Connect Tuesday. I'm going to share my screen. Tiger Connect Tuesday is powered by Hattiesburg Public School District's Curriculum and Instruction Department. I am Latasha Shaw, your math curriculum coordinator for the district, K through 12, and your presenter for today. And I'm glad to be here with you. If you would drop your name in the chat box, I don't have a sign-in sheet just yet, but if you would put your name in the chat box so we can know who's here, that would be great. And I'm going to start sharing my screen. Let's see. Are you all able to see my screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good deal. Okay, as I said, today's Tiger Connect topic is going to be ACT parent tips. I am Latasha Shaw, curriculum coordinator for math. I'll be your presenter for today. And we always begin with Hattiesburg Public School District's mission and vision. Here in Hattiesburg Public School District, it is our mission to educate all students. And our vision is to be a model teaching and learning community that graduates productive and caring citizens who are prepared to succeed. Here in Hattiesburg Public School District, we are preparing today's learners to be tomorrow's leaders. The goals of HPSD include attaining and sustaining academic success, community support and engagement, safe and orderly schools, and of course, fiscal accountability. Our agenda today. What is the ACT? Why your child should take the ACT? Little known ACT facts, parent tips for the ACT, ACT resources for your student, upcoming test dates, and ACT costs and fee waivers. So what is the ACT? The ACT is a standardized test used for college admission in the United States. It is currently administered by the ACT, which is a nonprofit organization by the same name. The test covers academic skills in 4 areas: English, mathematics, reading, and science reasoning. There's also an optional test component in writing. The ACT has 4 benchmark scores that will serve as an indicator as to if your child or your student is prepared for college level work. Those benchmark scores are 18 in English, a 22 in math and reading, and a 23 in the science reasoning component. If your student can score these subscores on the ACT, it's a good indicator that they will be successful at the college level and ready for college level work. Why take the ACT? Well, the most obvious reason is because it's how you get into college. It's a requirement to basically apply for most colleges, if not all. And the higher your score on the ACT, the more likely you are in getting into the college of your choice. You won't just have slim pickings. You will have a lot of options on the table for you, the higher your score. Also, one of the biggest reasons that we encourage students to take the ACT is for scholarship money and also grants. Certain scores, high scores, will pretty much give your child a full ride to a college of their choice and pay for tuition. So those are the basic reasons that we encourage students to take the ACT so that they won't have that financial burden on them and they can have the college of their choice and go where they really, really want to. There are some additional reasons that we also encourage kids to take ACT. At the high school, we offer, in conjunction with Pearl River Community College, we offer dual enrollment courses. Some of those courses include things like college algebra, composition English 1, Comp 1, but those courses require an ACT score of 18 in math and at least a 17 in English to qualify. And we want students to participate in those types of courses because that's going to give them college level experience, and also that's going to be those advanced courses that can help with their GPA and class rank and all those things that are important as you are in those last years of high school. Students that are interested in middle college will also need to take the ACT. Middle college is a partnership also between Hattiesburg High School and Pearl River Community College that allows a student to graduate with their high school diploma and an associate's degree at the same time. So that's pretty cool. That's awesome. But there's a requirement of having to take the ACT. There's a preference of a composite score, which is the overall score of 20. So students who wish to find out more about dual enrollment courses or middle college, they can reach out to Mr. Jermaine Brown. I believe he's on the line today. He is the college, the career and technical director for Hattiesburg Public School District and also the district testing coordinator. He can provide additional information about that, but today we're just talking about the ACT requirements. So here's some little known facts about the ACT. Did you know students can take the ACT a total of 12 times? Wow, some people think that's a lot. So there's no need to wait. Starting as early as the age of 13, students can create an ACT student account and begin preparing to take that test as early as their 8th grade year. And we want them to do that. The more exposure they have to the test, the more feel they get for the layout of the test, the types of questions, the skills that they need to know to be successful and get a good score. If you would like to set up an account for your student, you can click this link here and it will take you to the ACT student account login page. If there's any questions at any time, please just chime in. I'll try to answer as much as I can, and I'll refer you to someone who can if I cannot. All right, so also, did you know that you can request your child's responses, test booklet, and answer key for the ACT if it's taken at certain times during the year? Yes, you can. You can actually get the booklet and their answer responses. So that's a great way to prepare going forward. This request can be made if the test is taken in the months of June, December, and due to COVID, they've added another day. If your child is taking the upcoming July 18th test, which is this Saturday, they can also request afterwards to have their test booklet and answers mailed to them. If you follow this link, it will take you to the form that you would complete to request that. And just keep in mind, there is a $22 fee that applies for that. That's a great tool to use to prepare going forward so that students can maximize their scores, see what their areas of weaknesses are, and improve, because they have 12 times. We want them to take it as many times as they can to improve that score, to increase their chances of getting scholarship funds and going to the college of their dreams. So here are some parent tips specifically for the ACT. Now, there are a lot of strategies and tips that we share with students, but this Tiger Connect is focused on the parent, what the parent can do to encourage their child to do better, to prepare better for that test. So, as we said before, you definitely want to encourage your child to take the ACT sooner rather than later. Remember, your child has 12 opportunities to take the test and improve their score. So let them start at 8th grade level, get exposed to the test, and then by the time they're 11th and 12th graders, they've seen the content, they know what skills and strategies they need, and they can probably be maximizing their score at that 11th and 12th grade level. Also, encourage your child to practice, practice, practice. That's really the best advice. Exposure to the test items, the setup of the test, the types of items on the test, and practicing with those skills is the best advice you could give your child if they want to get a higher score. Also, this is something that I've seen with students. They don't spend enough time working to improve their weak spots, their weaknesses. Every time they have access to a practice booklet, they want to work it from the beginning to the end. Well, if you've taken the test and you've gotten back your score report or you've requested your answer document, you need to use those documents to find the areas of weakness and improve there. Build those areas up. That's how you're going to get more points. So work strategically, study strategically, focus on the weak spots. Don't forget the strengths, but focus on the weak spots to bring those areas up.
Miss Shaw, I have a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
How often can they take the test? Like, how many do they have to wait? Like, how often is the test given? I guess that's my question.
Yes, ma'am. It's given several times throughout the year, and we're going to talk about upcoming test dates.
Okay.
And the dates have kind of changed for this year due to COVID. There were some dates that were available in June that, because of site closure, students didn't get a chance to take the test. So ACT has done some things to accommodate parents and students that did not get a chance to take the test when they should have. And I'm going to share those dates with you because normally the new dates roll out beginning in August for the next school year, but they've actually added some dates in for September and October, and we're going to look at that in just a few minutes. Okay. These next two tips are, sometimes you would probably think this is just common sense, but it's worth speaking to. The nights before, not just the night before, but maybe of the week or two before the test, if your child doesn't have a traditional routine to prepare for bed and get well rested, they need to do that. They need to be well rested on the days leading up to the test so that they can be alert, they can be sharp, they won't fall asleep because the test is quite lengthy and there is a break in the middle, but you want them to, not fall asleep during the test or waste time, because once that time starts, each section is time. They won't be able to go back. So help them to be well rested the nights, if not the weeks leading up to when they're going to take the test. The next thing, make sure your child eats a real good hearty breakfast. Again, the test is kind of lengthy. There is a break in the middle, but we want the same thing we do for our students during a school test or during testing season. We want, for ACT, we want to do that even more so. So making sure that a growling stomach or hunger isn't a concern while they're testing and trying to get their best score. Now, these are just some basic tips for parents, but if you would like some additional tips and strategies that you could use to help your child to prepare, ACT actually has many of them. So that link I just clicked will take you to their site that has tips and strategies for the ACT. You can even take a little fun quiz to find the best way to get ready for the ACT based on your learning style, which is really great because everybody doesn't learn the same way. And it just sections off different tips and strategies. You even have tips for the English, the math, the reading, the science, and what to expect on test day. So this is a great resource. And as I said, it's linked into this PowerPoint, and then we'll also upload it to the website and provide a list of references and links in case you don't have access to the PowerPoint. You can still find out where to go to get that information. Okay, so what should you bring with you on the big day? Make sure your child has these things, because if they don't have this first thing, they're not taking the test. So after your child signs up, registers for ACT student or ACT student account, registers for the test, they will be given a admission ticket, which has to be printed in order to bring with them to the testing site. You must have that document. So after you register, have your child to print it, put it in a safe place, or you just make sure you print it for them and they have it on the day of. They will also need a form of identification, preferably a state-issued ID, or a student ID will work as well. Make sure you bring some pencils. Make sure they're pre-sharpened, and bring several. Again, there are 4 sections of the test, and you want to make sure you come prepared. There is a calculator policy for ACT. A calculator is allowed on the math portion, but there are some calculators that are prohibited. This link that I just clicked on has the ACT calculator policy. And then you can look at that to see which calculator, if the calculator that you have for your child is going to be allowable or not. And usually the ones that we use in the school, the TI-84s, that will suffice. And I know that in the past, the high school we have a checkout policy for kids that don't have their own, to check out a calculator to use on their ACT day. They'll just sign a form and they'll bring it back the Monday following the test. Are there any questions right now? I see that I'm clicking back to the comments. I see that Mr. Brown has added one. Math sub-score of 19 is required for Pearl River, also for dual credit with William Carey. So Pearl River and William Carey require that 19 for their math courses. Thank you, Mr. Brown. Okay. Also, you want to make sure you have a timepiece, not a smartwatch, because that's technology that's not allowable, so that your child can pace themselves. And that's one of the strategies we teach students. Pace yourself. You know, set a goal. Figure out how many items you need to get correct to meet that goal, and pace yourself. Keep up with that time so that your time doesn't run out. And then when time runs out, we teach them a strategy. Don't leave anything blank, So there are some strategies that we speak specifically to the student about pacing themselves, watching the time, and what to do when time is nearing the end, to make sure that you at least get some of those items correct that you did not get the opportunity to go back and visit. And definitely no phones. Leave it in your vehicle. Keep it at home. Just don't bring it at all. They're not allowed in the testing rooms. Okay, so on to the resources. I definitely like to start with resources sponsored by ACT.org, because they are the creator of the test. They're the maker of the test. So if you go to ACT.org, you'll find several. The most commonly used resource is obviously the practice booklet. So by clicking on this link, it will take you to the site where you can request and download actually the most recent practice test, which will be the 1920. They haven't put the 2021 up, but they're all great to use. Any of the old tests that ACT has already administered, those are great tools to use to prepare and to get better at the things that you're not strong in. So you'll just fill out this document and it will allow you to download the booklet. You can also request a booklet from your child's school. They have those hard copies available if you would prefer a hard copy. ACT Academy is an online learning tool that is powered by ACT. And what I like about it is it has not only a teacher account and student account, it has a parent account, and this is Parent ACT Tips. So you can create your own account and keep track with what your student is doing to prepare for ACT, and things of that nature. You'll have to have an email and password, and then whatever other prompts they ask you to do. But this account is free, and it's a great tool. It provides practice with all the areas. So this is how I suggest kids use the ACT Academy. After they take their first test, or they take a test, they get their score report back, you will be able to insert your scores from each of the testing areas into ACT Academy, and it will kind of give you an individual learning path based on how you scored. So that's the best way to use that resource. But if you have not ever taken the test yet and you're just trying to prepare, they also have a resource library. Clicking this link, it'll take you back to ACT Academy, but the tab that says resource library, you can actually type in a skill, a topic that you know is a weakness of yours, and it will pull up videos, PowerPoints, games, interactive activities, so that you can better prepare for that specific area. So it's a great, great, great tool. Teachers use it in school, but parents, you have access to it at home as well to help your child maximize their score. Okay. If you're looking for some resources that are not provided by ACT, I highly recommend Kaplan and Varsity Tutors. These are two companies that provide live online ACT prep courses. It's kind of like a personal tutor. They hire tutors and teachers to actually have individual sessions or small group sessions with students to prepare them for the ACT. Now, many times these sessions are not free, but because of COVID-19, they are offering a couple of free sessions. Some have already started because of the July 18th date. So you can follow those links and sign up. As a matter of fact, Kaplan has one that's going to be this Sunday, and you can sign up. It's a 1-hour session. And then they may have others. You can just scroll down and kind of see what works with your schedule. Varsity Tutors is another one. They also have ACT test prep classes. Again, you'll see they have the ones free listed here, the dates and the times, and how to enroll. So these are great in addition to what ACT has to offer. Are there any questions so far? I'm clicking back and forth to see if anybody has put anything in the chat box. Okay. All right, so here we are to the dates. There was a question about how often you can take it. So again, due to COVID, they've kind of altered their testing schedule. They've had some blips because some students didn't get to test back in June when they were supposed to. And then they've also changed the late registration for the July 18th date as well. So, it's obviously too late to sign up for that now, but they changed that. But because of COVID, they have added 3 dates in September and even a Sunday date. That's not usual for ACT, but again, we're living in unusual times, so they're trying to accommodate our students. And then also in October, there are 4 dates coming up. So mark your calendars. Registration opens the last week of July for these dates. And so if you want your child to take the test on one of these days, go ahead, and if they haven't created an ACT account, do that with them. Or if they already have one, go ahead and get them set up. Now, if you have additional questions about scheduling and the procedures, because there are procedures that had to be put into place because of COVID, ACT has some updates on their website. I just clicked on that link, and this is a video from the CEO of ACT talking about those updates. And then if you scroll down, once again, frequently asked questions about how do you reschedule for an existing registration? What if your test center canceled the test? What do you do? Whatever your questions are, concerning the ACT, if your child was registered for it and didn't get a chance to take it or going forward, you can find it here, which is a great one-stop place to get all that information. Also, if you were scheduled to take the June test and your site was canceled because of COVID, you can request a refund. You can get that money back, or you can reschedule or for a different date. If you click on this link, it will take you to that form to request a refund. So you'll just fill that document out, click on the test dates for which you are requesting your refund, and you can even request one for if there's some issue going on with the testing center that your child has been registered for this Saturday. You can even request a refund if you see or you've been notified that they won't be able to have that site up and ready and in guidelines. All right, the big question, what is the cost of the ACT? Well, if you take the ACT without the writing, it's a fee of $55. These are the 2020-2021 fees. $55 is the fee per ACT.org. This fee includes your report, your school's report, and up to 4 colleges, but you have to put the codes. When you register, you have to enter the college codes that you want your scores to be sent to. So you can do that for up to 4 colleges for the $55. If you want to take the ACT with the writing component, that's going to require a fee of $70. You're still going to get a report, your school's going to get a report, and you can still send those scores to 4 colleges. Now, there are some additional fees that go along with it if it's a late registration, if you're trying to change your test date, but all of that can be found by looking at that website, act.org, or contacting your school counselor who can give you more information. Also, if you're unable to pay that amount, $55 or $70, there are fee waivers that are available for your student, but they must meet certain requirements. These requirements are they must be currently enrolled in high school in their 11th or 12th grade year. They have to be tested in the United States, and they must meet one or more of the indicators of economic need based on the ACT fee waiver form. That form is something, again, that your child's school counselor can share with them, ask them those indicators to see if they qualify. And if they are eligible, they can receive up to 2 separate fee waivers so that they won't have a cost to take the ACT at all. Now, I believe, and Mr. Brown can chime in here, I believe that the district's going to, for all incoming 11th graders, that there may be a option to take it in October at no cost to them. I know we did that in the past. I don't know if we're going to do it going forward, but that would be an additional opportunity for them to take the test.
That is correct.
Yes, sir. All right. And so how to apply for your fee waiver, once again, check with your school counselor. They're much more knowledgeable about that process. They have the list of indicators to determine if your child is eligible. And once they do that, you're going to receive those waivers and they'll be able to use it and don't have to pay a cost for the ACT. There's also a bunch of free resources. If your child qualifies for the fee waiver, there's a bunch of resources that normally people have to pay for to get, and they won't have to. So the counselor can give you more information about that as well. It's a lot of good things that come with the fee waiver. So take advantage of all that they're willing to give in addition to that. For additional information about the ACT, you can always go to www.act.org, or if you want a more personal touch, contact your school's counselor. They are the go-to person for all things ACT. So for N.R. Berger, you call that number and ask to speak with the counselor. For Hattiesburg High School, you see that number there. We have additional parent resources in addition to other Tiger Connects that we've done and other videos that we've made and other information we want parents to be aware of on our district website and on our YouTube page. So the links to both of those can be found here. You can click there and see what other Tiger Connects we have done and what other videos we have as well. So the next Tiger Connect will be this afternoon at 6 p.m. We'll have an encore Tiger Connect presentation on ACT parent tips. At that time, I'll go back through this information, and if there are any different questions, I'll address those as best I can. But we would also like to invite you to our next week's Tiger Connect, which is going to be all about grades K through 3. So for our little ones, our very, very little people, we have a Tiger Connect for their parents then. Are there any questions that I can assist with?
Yeah, I have a question about scores.
Yes, sir.
Now, is it true that if a kid takes let's say the first time they take a test, they score a 20 on the English, but then they take the test the second time, they end up taking the highest scores from each of the different tests? Or do they, if I'm understanding it correctly?
Right. There's this ACT had developed what they call the super score, where students can take certain sections of the test and to try to improve that score. That was going to be a go for the fall, but they have delayed that until 2021. Anything with the super score or being able to take the test online, that has been delayed. But just to answer generally, when you're reporting to different colleges, they'll always take the highest score. So if I take it 12 times, they're going to go with the highest score. Mr. Brown, if you want to add to that, you can.
Yeah, that's correct. They'll take the highest super score regardless of whenever you took it. That's correct.
And then there's one more question in the chat. How soon do students receive their scores? I don't have that information readily available at the moment. Mr. Brown, in the past for the school, what's the turnaround for that has been in the past?
Yeah, the school will receive the scores only if the student does put in the school's code. Ms. Shaw mentioned that earlier. If the student does not register and put in the HHS code, then we will not receive the score. But if they do, it will take approximately a month to maybe 6 weeks before we actually get the scores. Now, the students, on the other hand, approximately get the scores back to their ACT student account approximately 2, maybe even 3 weeks. So they get it faster than we do.
Good deal. Good deal. Thank you for that. Thank you for that question. Okay. Are there any other questions? These are great questions. Okay. If not, we would like to thank you for joining us today. For more information about Tiger Connect, please contact Hattiesburg Public School District. Our directors are Tanza Vaughn for grades 6 through 12, and then Ms. Hope Michael for grades K through 5. It was a pleasure having lunch with you guys today. And I think that's the end of our presentation. So once again, are there any additional questions? If not, Dr. Will, I think we're going to sign off unless you have something to add.
I'm good.
Okay.
Stop the recording.
Okay. Thank you, guys. See you back at 6 p.m. or spread the word to someone who was not present. Thank you.